it begins. The battle that once again hints that maybe Soma won't win after all, but it could very well just imply that, well, Soma's a guy who recognizes his rival, even though the rival will never recognize him. So, win or lose, he knows that it's not easy surpassing this rival. Hi, for those who are watching, it's the Shokugeki no Soma chapter 187 of Shokugeki no Soma. Soma serves first, which is only a little bit rare, and he serves his perfect new meat dish. The two girls are very Bertha and Shelia are very excited, having stars in their eyes as it's arrived here. We also see I wanna say a cute flashback back then when Soma was young, where he served meat, burgers in napkins to his friends, and his father was looking behind him a bit, almost like relaxed, proud. What I call that cute is that this once again seems to imply that Soma is, not imply, say that as strange as Soma is, and as much as I dislike the fact that we only see him recently, I know he's the main character, but still, Soma is still a guy who came from a humble beginning, and all he ever wanted was to cook food for people. Well, Soma, I wanna say all he wanna do is wanna cook for people close to him, but that's also a bit wrong. He still hasn't learned what it means to cook with love, and that is why I feel like some of the other characters are stronger than him. But he is stronger than them because he has more creativity and he can admit his faults, which, by the way, people like us never can. So just seeing that cover page, well, it's just that he liked to give food to his friends. That's what's about it. And so the tasting begins on a pretty modest table. As Dojima wonders what will Soma do with this. After all, for him it seems to be that Soma needed to make sure that this flavor of the bear would not disappear. Of course, the girls, knowing that it's bear meat, seems a bit worried. So the one who first take it up is it's the one who the girls call Nasa, because that's how you're supposed to eat mincemeat. It's pretty funny that Nasa is a guy with huge eyebrows, but and a very strict gentleman, but at the same time he seems to be someone a little bit more flexible. Is that also implying that he's the perfect foil to Asami? I know, though, Asami is not a Naikiri, he's a Naikiri in marriage name only. So, I wonder. So he takes the bite, and the girls also take the bite, and well, they have a pretty strong foodgasm. It's about time again we saw female foodgasm. But I turned out I asked last week how old were these girls. Turned out they were 15. So I'm just gonna say, oh, well, these girls they are pretty well developed girls who are 15. They look way younger than they really are. Or maybe 15 is really supposed to look that young, and Soma and Gang are the one who look older, but they are older. But then these two girls are a little bit of a mystery for me. They are professional, but at the same time they're very childish. But that makes sense. They're 15 years old, but that's not important. They talk about the overflowing taste in the meat, and but it's Nassan who mentioned that Soma without fear made use of the meats nearest to the bone of the bear. According to many, there is the bone from a meat is actually pretty good. I mean, you cannot eat the bone, unfortunately, unless maybe you boil it or cut it open and then suck out it. But it seems that the closer the meat is to a bone, the more nutrients or maybe even taste it will have. Therefore, it's the most difficult part to handle. So Soma made use of the uh, strongly odorous, stinky parts of the bear that included them into his mincemeat katsu. In other words, he divided the absolute limits on which he could push this meat without having to release its latent stink. He crossed with ease a line which is more than mortals could stupefy almost. Uh, but the girl, what is her name? I need to go up. I need to check. I know they're twins, so it's pretty difficult to find out the name. It seems that Shelia, the long-haired girl, is the one who wonders doing something like this would be if doing something like this is reckless. But this is Soma we're talking about. He is Mr. Reckless. He always liked to do something reckless because that's the way he can push himself to become a better cook or a chef. Uh, uh, but Soma made prominent use of that thanks to the hunter he befriended. And it's during that time, and Soma says he actually has made mincemeat katsu before. It's during that time that the girls finally recognize who, as he mentions his diner, who Soma really is. Because as the girls were scouted by Alice's mother, they seem to have grown up with Alice. Well, maybe not grown up is the wrong word, but they call Alice their big sis. And given to the fact that Alice is older than them, that's not surprising. But it is pretty fun to see a little flashback on when they were hanging out in Danish or in Japan when Alice was in Danish and the way they hang out together with Chili and Berta. It's pretty funny that it's Ryukun, Ryu Kurokiba, that is being is the plaything of the girls. Normally he's one who tied his bandana and says, "Get the fuck away from me," but he was the plaything of the girls. And of course, the girls being 15 years old and hopeless romantics falls for Soma. And also for the fact that, and Soma being Soma, a guy who is clueless of love and only has cooking for brains, is only confused by all of this. He's even more confused when it turns out that they begin to call Soma Soma-san. As they begin to talk about, that they want Soma to read some kind of paper. So yeah, Kuga though is a bit amazed by that, but also does that mean they rank Tenryu, him, lower than the other? They called Kurokiba Ryukun and Leonora-san, and they call that Soma-san, but they called Kuga Tenrunu-chan, so yeah, maybe it's the way they respect. As Sasan mentions that Soma combined the vascular parts of the animal roast and the back ribs and helped strengthen the power of the flames. He succeeded in creating a gradation of deliciousness. And with that, like a true Naikiri, Sasan strips, although his stripping is a little bit different than his father, although not completely different, but still a little bit different. When Simon stripped, he took off his entire bear, while Sasan strips, we do see his, by the way, pretty muscular body. What is it with these Naikiris? Or how can they be so well fitted when they are in gormans? I guess they must be pretty strict. in their training programs. Also, there is also the fact that every single female Naikiri so far are pretty well endowed despite their age and even in their age. So yeah, I guess they're not only true gourmands, they're true body perfections. Is that true? When Sasan strips, he only throw away his shirt. He still has his well, I wouldn't. Coat is the wrong word, but he still has his tie and that coat on. But we do see his bare stomach. So yeah, so he stripped it down, which means that he has recognized Soma's dish. But Soma is not exactly sure on how this battle will do. After all, it's now Hayama's turn, and he brings out a sparkling dish. And how will this match go out? Given to the fact that Hayama is hyped up in the last page, it seems very likely that maybe Soma won't win after all. Soma has to win, not only because he cannot be expelled, but because I'm tired of seeing Hayama winning against him. But it almost seems to imply that it's going to be a draw. But that's impossible because there are odd numbers. But I know Hayama and Kurokiba's duel was a draw, but that was only because the judge was so enormed by the both tasted that she couldn't judge properly. But still, this does seems to imply that what's going to happen at the end of this match is just how I suspect it's going to be. Because we still haven't seen a single scene of Megumi and Takumi versus Rindo. A match every single one believe they cannot win against. So I'm not gonna be surprised anymore if Soma wins this match, and then just suddenly we will get a matches that will tell to Soma, your friends lost. And then we will get the cook-off, just to break our spirits, or mine, since I'm a Megumi fan, more. It would not surprise me if that's how the cook-off against Rindo and Takumi and Megumi are gonna be like. Just to break our spirits, that's how it's gonna happen. But there is also the question that Takumi and Megumi are two important characters, and although the authors did say that Soma has yet not met that kind of girl yet, which seems to imply that maybe a new girl character will be introduced, I'm still a bit wondering if they can't win, then how can they survive? Maybe by a loophole abuse, who knows, but hopefully this will be the last time I talk about that until we get a confirmation when they have lost. I don't want them to lose, and I strongly believe that Megumi can win against Rindo because she believes in the power of love. I know, but you have to think of it like this. The power of love is a curious thing. Make one man weep, make another man sing. And in this manga it has been stated that cooking with love can bring out a miracle. But it's not exactly but it's also hinted that those with enormous amount of culinary expertise can break the limits of love. So we'll see, won't we? Give me your thoughts if you have any.